Hey guys, second example. I'm going to lose track of how many examples I'm going to do, but I just know there's a second one I'm doing this morning. So working on, in this case, the mean of a frequency distribution. So mean is your average. We can always just add up values, and to find the average, you add them all up, divide by how many there are. And if they gave us all of the data, like if they just told me 17 or 18 different numbers, I would add them all up and divide. But in this case, for chapter 2, section 3, problem number 13, they don't tell me the individual numbers. They tell me there are 13 numbers inside this class. So I don't know what the individual numbers are. And so in order to find the average, we're doing this an approximation. We're not finding the actual average because we can't. For all we know, all 13 numbers are 31 or all 13 are 34. We don't know, but we're going to get a good approximation of the average. And so what we do is we take how many are in that class and we're going to multiply it by the midpoint of this class. Okay, so we'll take the frequency, which is given by the italic symbol of F, multiply it by the midpoint. We will then add up all of these, and this is the same thing as a weighted average, okay? Just like your GPA, if you have a 4.0 and you did that for 12 credits, and then you got a 3.0 for 4 credits, obviously your 3 A's count more than your 1 B, so we have a weighted average. But same idea here. I'm going to find my midpoint just like we did before. Now in this case, I actually have to type in the values. I have two choices. I could have separated these classes here and just written them, excuse me, as two columns. And this way typed it in. You know, I'm just going to type it in just one time. So I'm going to do equals 31 plus 34 divided by 2. The benefit is if I had made it into columns and put a column for 31 and then a column for 34, then I could have typed in the formula like my previous video from chapter 2.1 and then just filled the formula down. But there's only 4 classes here, so I'm not really all that worried about it. You can just add them together, divide by 2, equals, parentheses, 39 plus 42 divided by 2. And again, you know, if you wanted to, you of course could do it in your head or just use a calculator. By all means, feel free to use calculators. And there's 44.5. So these are the midpoints of all of them. I will now do the frequency times the midpoint. Okay, blue times red, hit equals, and I got it. And now I can take that and drag that down so that that formula copies for each one of them. Okay, and again, you can check B3 if I just click up here to see them highlighted. Blue times red is correct. Blue times red is correct. Blue times red is correct. Okay, just to show, if I wanted to, again, so you can see, I'm going to type in my formula text. Hey, I already made it too big. Hang on, I'm going to have to make the column bigger so that we can see it first, because otherwise the text of it covers up the actual box I want. I want this box here. Okay, and now I can reduce it and whoops. Okay, so there's what I typed in for these, which is fine. So here's frequency times midpoint. What I also need to know now is the sum or total, if you would, doesn't matter, of these. So that will be the sum. Again, I could just highlight them. I'll show you that again. But I highlight them and hit enters. I could have just highlighted these all together and looked down here. It tells me 31, but that's okay. I'm going to do the sum of these as well. So I just call total here. Sum, whoops, I hit plus sign, equals sum. Highlight those. Okay, whoops. And now my approximate average then is going to be this total. So here's my approximate average And that's going to be equal to this total, my frequency times my midpoint, divided by the total frequency. It says I want, let's see, round to 1 decimal place. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to come up here and let the computer round it off for me. 36.1. Let's plug it in. Let's cross our fingers and let's be happy. Okay. So, and here's the same thing. It says approximate the mean frequency. So this is number 14. Again, same idea. Okay. What I meant by separating them is if I wanted to, I would have put one column as 31, one column as 34. Take this one, 35, 38, and so forth and so on. And so when I do the midpoint, I can then just type in this column plus this column divided by 2, and then drag the formula down. Again, since there was only 4 classes, it was just as easy for me to type them in. On this one, you have about 10 classes. That's a little bit longer. You might want to break it apart. If I had something like 20 classes, I definitely would have broken it apart. Okay, so I hope this video helps you out as well. And I will post this one to class too. Have a great day, people.